Directed by Ridley Scott, who is in no way a stranger to space and all of the intense situations possible. Alien, Prometheus. The Martian is a great movie. And why is it a great movie? Well, because Ridley knows what he's doing on this one. You know, he's had some flops recently, but, you know, I'm glad to say he's coming back. So The Martian is about astronaut Mark Watney, who gets stranded on Mars after his crew leaves him because they think he's dead, and they're in a rush to get off the planet because something goes wrong. They leave, he's still there, happens to be alive. Whoops. Okay, so half the movie is also about the other side, NASA and the human population on Earth. They're freaking out and they're trying to figure out how to bring Mark back, or possibly send him supplies that will, you know, let him live longer, because if there's no action taken, Mark Watney's gonna die. And he confronts that reality when he wakes up, because he's incapacitated at first, but he wakes up and he realizes what happened, and he's like, hey, surprise, I'm alive, but I'm gonna die soon if I don't solve the situation. Mark's gotta pull some extraordinary science together. He's gotta make water, he's gotta make food on Mars, and it's so fun to watch. You know, this movie apparently is very scientifically accurate, and that's always good news. And it showcases the acting range of Matt Damon as Mark Watney. He's bringing about all these emotions and pulling it to this very likable character, and he's got us along for the ride, and it's good. It's a great movie. Is it predictable? Yes, but we're so invested that we don't really care. So what's NASA doing to try and get him? Well, there's a whole other conflict. Jeff Daniels is playing the, you know, evil corporate head of NASA. He's kind of playing the devil's advocate, bad guy, and saying like, no, we can't do this. You know, everyone else is like, we've got to help Mark Watney. You know, we gotta do something. And he's kind of like, maybe we shouldn't risk the lives of everyone else. And I'm like, okay, yeah, well, it's gotta be someone. But it is cliche, but it's fine. It's cliche, but it's fine. It works. Okay, so this is directed by Ridley Scott, and it's a lot more lighthearted than some of his more recent works, and just, you know, his body of work in general. He's a very serious dude. This movie is, yeah, it's fun, and it's got a lot of happy moments for a movie being about a guy stranded on Mars alone. And that's because of the character of Mark Watney and Matt Damon's acting. You know, it's so likable, and you're like, hey, he's a human being, and he's trying to have a good time despite the utter despair of the situation. But being Ridley Scott, I was going to tie into this. There are some scenes and just some things about the movie that make me realize, okay, Ridley's referencing himself. The astronaut suits, and I feel like it's kind of popular at this point, they remind me a lot of the Prometheus suits. And that's fine. I'm like, okay, yeah, that seems like logical. You know, even if it's not Ridley, I feel like astronaut suits would be like this in general. There was one specific scene that reminded me so much of Prometheus that I was like, you're doing the same thing. He's doing the same thing. So in Prometheus, there's a self-surgery scene, and this is very reminiscent of that because it's a self-surgery scene. Yeah. This movie, for me, lies somewhere in between Gravity and Interstellar. So Interstellar kind of deals with themes that are beyond science. You know, they're philosophical, and they make you think more. Gravity is a very straightforward movie where its protagonists are, you know, in a situation where they have to get back to Earth, find a way to survive. In Interstellar, you know, obviously they're trying to survive as well, but they're trying to save the whole human population. But Interstellar, you know, in dealing with themes, it tries to be philosophical and go beyond the confines of science. And this one is very confined to science, and it's also about a character that is away from safety, and he needs to find a way to get back to safety. So this movie is definitely a lot more comprehensible, and I think in part of that is also due to the NASA side of the things to explain it, and you know, this press conferences, all that stuff. I don't have too many complaints about this movie other than it being cliche, but I didn't really mind it. It seemed like the right thing to do, to have a very straightforward story and characters that we can immediately identify. This movie is definitely about Matt Damon and his performance, and it delivers. It definitely delivers. Do I see a Best Actor nomination for Matt? Probably. I hope so, because he did a stellar job. Interstellar. This movie is definitely a must-watch. and it's one of the best of the year so far. I think I would give it an 8.5. This movie could have gone so many other ways, and it could have failed, but it didn't. And it was believable. It's a very human movie. And at the end of the day, it looks awesome. And the writing's good, visuals are great. You need to watch this movie. So that was it for The Martian. I'm Ricky Soseto for the Film Fan Club. Be sure to stay tuned. We'll have more videos. We do movie news. It's a bi-weekly show. And we'll probably have a breakdown of The Martian, possibly Sicario as well, coming soon. So I'll see you then.